Vroom, vroom, vroom.
It's a lazy day at the shop today. Caio is doing Caio things.
Yes.
And I think it's time for me to finally do the service on my BMW, which is only overdue by like 1,000 miles because I haven't been able to get to it. So one of the things that's a little unusual about these bikes is the oil filler cap is actually keyed. You need like a special thing to get it off. I've heard a lot of stories for why this is. The story that I've heard most consistently is that people would take these bikes, you know, like around the world and that kind of thing. And apparently there's a tendency in some developing nations where people, especially kids, would come up and like take the oil filler caps off the bike, I guess as souvenirs or toys or whatever. So I know a lot of people that don't have a locking cap put one on for that reason. But the BMWs just come that way. And I always like to take the cap off first, of course, otherwise the oil can chug and make more of a mess. So one of the nice things about this Alt-Rider skid plate is that there's a hole so you can get at the oil drain so that you don't have to drop the skid plate in order to do an oil change. I'll see if I can do this without spilling oil all over myself. Usually I can't. Better than usual. Now this last oil filter that I put on it was not actually a BMW filter, it was K&N. So you can tell because it has a bolt head that makes it really easy to remove. The BMW ones are just smooth. And as you can see, there's not really any access onto the bike. So you have to use basically a special tool that's like a big socket to get it off. Caio, do you engage in the oil brand debate?
To the point where I buy the most expensive thing that I'm told is good. Besides that, not really.
So I took pity on Caio and got him a sander. How does this thing work?
Got a little wheel
Oh my god.
and a switch to turn it on and off.
What's this for speed?
So if you turn it on like 9, it's going faster.
Oh my god. Smooth as a baby's ass. So when do you get to start sanding?
And once the third layer dries.
And we'll know that when it's all one color?
Yeah, so like right now, that one's already on its third layer. You can see the top bit where it was thinner because it's not evening out as much is white, and then it goes more into a darker color further down. So that middle bit needs to be the same color as the top, and then it'll be dry. Up here, I was very much done with trying to mud yesterday, so I did a very shit job on getting an even surface. So now I'm putting in more work trying to get it cleaner so that it, what are these things, trowel doesn't get stuck on anything when I put on the third layer.
Oh, so it doesn't hang up.
Yeah, because what'll happen is like it'll go like this, and then if it's like a big bump, it'll catch the big bump, and then the particulates will go into the mud, and then you'll drag a big streak along.
Oh, that's
So
not good.
it's really nasty if you don't get it at least a semblance of smooth. If you look at those, I did a much better job of trying to keep it smooth. It doesn't really matter for the final finish because you end up sanding it all down, but then you also want to avoid getting like bubbles in it, right? Because it's going to be more difficult. So, like right here, really bad example of what I shouldn't have done, but it's just because that bubble there, I was just kind of done with it. But like all these, I have to make sure that fill down. So when you're sanding down, it's like a what's it? Bondo, right? When you have Bondo, you want to make sure you have an even finish so that when you sand it, you don't find any of the bubbles.
Okay, that makes sense.
But so like the new ones here I did are all very much smoother because I realized how much fucking work I made myself.
Ah. So it's true what they told me. You should do it right in the first place.
Yeah.
Not get it right the third time like I tend to. Yeah, okay.
That's why I was saying I was proud of myself because the third layer, I did in the speed of the second layer, but in the quality of my first layer.
Gotcha. And I have to ask,
Yo.
how is the lighting working out for you?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Like I stepped in here this morning and it seemed like the sun was just shining straight into the shop, and I've had zero complaints about not having enough light, which.
It's good. I can't actually see all the imperfections and stuff. That must help to see the shadows.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can just kind of see how rough this all is.
Well, very good. It was your peer pressure, basically.
Me and Behair.
You and Behair primarily, yeah. Others as well, but you guys really carried the flag on the lighting issue. How is it?
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, is it going to save you time?
Oh, so much time. But yeah, it's just like you can see here, nice and smooth, and it's just like all this splotchy crap. So, you might not want to stand too close to the cloud.
Gotcha. Cool. So this is my version of chain maintenance.
It's cheating is what it is.
Cheating?
Cheating.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like pay to win.
Pay to win, he
Pay
says.
to winning right now. The rest of us, normal mortals, have to do chain maintenance. And you just laugh at us with your direct drive.
I mean, I have to do maintenance every 6,000 miles. How often do you have to do your chain? 300, 500?
Something like that, yeah.
So what will really bake your noodle, and it actually took me a long time to notice this, and I'll admit it, I actually didn't notice this until someone else pointed it out about these bikes. The engine, the cylinder jugs are not parallel between left and right, right? You gotta look at it. They're not parallel. You know, from the top. Look at them from the top.
This one's further back, isn't it?
Yeah. And it took me a long time to see it, but now when I'm like at a stop, I notice it.
Yeah.
This one's
further forward
yeah.
because of the crankshaft. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I still, like, if I were to ever get one, I'd need like a permanent box right here, and I'd need an antenna coming out of it.
Oh, why is that?
Because it looks cool. It would look like, I don't know, some scout, like you're driving a scout bike.
Okay.
So I just need like a hand box. It doesn't have to do anything, except have an antenna. And the antenna needs to be at least as tall as I am on.
That constellation of business requirements reminds me of someone we know, whose name shall not be uttered.
See, but
as long as you don't paint it green with an army star on the side.
no, I'd go with like gunmetal, like, or something like matte and dark. Even though that's like a death sentence for motorcycles. But I already read like a black motorcycle.
One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to get another one and then like bob it, cut the tail off of it, and make it like a naked, like a cafe. Like I want to get like an old vintage metal tank and take all the fairings and everything off of it.
All the angular shit.
Yeah, all the angular shit, yeah, and cut it, you know, bob it like right about here, and then convert it basically into a crazy like cafe bike.
Oh, okay. Dude, that one looks so weird too, because it's like with some motorcycles, like Ducatis, you have it look like where it's like you have like seat and then it's just like engine, right? Like the engine like is like trimmed down. It looks like a freaking like a bull or something, where it's just like it has like a super slender waist but like a huge front. That would like exaggerate that because of the width too. So you have like a huge wide front of it, and you're like basically like sitting on it like this. Because at that point you'd have to change the angle of the handlebars because it wouldn't make sense to sit with a normal cycle and have the back of the bike on.
Okay, so I gotta check the torque I gotta look up the torque for this so I don't make like $1,000 mistake right now. That'll do fast. So on my GS I have speed bleeders, which are the special brake valves that let you change the fluid all by yourself. Usually you kind of need 2 people to do it, or else you're really not going to do it properly. The speed valves are pretty cool. So you open them up, but unlike a regular valve, they won't suck air back in. So only out. So I basically hook up this IV bag and then pump the brakes or use the computer to run the ABS pump, and then the fluid comes out. So now of course we have to hook up a computer and do all the crazy magic to get the service indicator to turn off. So there we go, service done, $1,200 saved. How is your progress?
The end piece is in. So it's
nice.
Almost going to be like an actual wall. I don't know. I kind of wish that I'd realized what happened sooner and thought about it more, because I would have redone all the drywall panels up however high they should have been. Because you're not supposed to put them all the way to the ground. But too late now. Too late. And then.
So the landlord owes me a door.
Actually?
Yeah. It's in the lease that he owes me a door.
Okay. Does it stipulate what type of door? Do you get to decide?
No, it's just like, it's just a door. There's, I have an IOU. Yeah, I have an IOU for a door, and the deal is either he'll like drop off a door and we can hang it, or he'll actually hang it. But I imagine the way we're going, we'll probably want to do it.
You could just ask him for the money he could get and get a better door.
Why do you automatically assume that he would get a bad door? And if that begs the question, what would a good door be?
Steel reinforced, heavy.
Steel reinforced is just drywall. Look, there's no security.
It's like the in red, right? It's that moment in red where it's just like the code cycles so often. No one would ever be able to get it or break into or hack this.
You would just climb
through the drywall right next to it in the controller and open.
You would just climb over, yeah. Or you would punch through this drywall like the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah.
I think any door will work as long as it's white. That's all I care about. So my question to you though is that do we need to do the door framing at a certain point, or can we do it at any time? Anytime, even after it's painted, we can still do it.
I mean, ideally it's after you paint, because you want to put the door frame over the paint.
Over it, okay.
You don't see the set. That's
okay.
What, remember, I was asking if you want to take this door frame out to paint, and you said no, we'll just paint it up. And it's like that's why, because if we were to paint it, I want to make sure that the mudding goes behind it as well. But
okay.
Since we chose not to do that.
So I'm not under like a time pressure.
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, we can leave it like that until whenever.
Great. Gotta make motorcycle noises at least.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Speaking of which, when are you gonna get a lady to put on the back?
Never.
Never.
Not of my own skill set.
I see. Not under your own power.
Yeah.
I see. You might be drugged there, but
yeah,
I got you.
Not drug as in I resist. It's drug as in I'm incapable.
I see.
It's like asking a Corolla to go up a 12% grade off-road.
Well, judging by the population decline, this is the modern world. People no longer know how to date.
Well, that and they're choosing not to have children for whatever reason. Because they're like, oh, kids in this world will grow up so unhappy. Which is hilariously, actually, a couple of times a reason I haven't dated someone. They've just flatly refused to even consider it.
Not having children?
Not having children.
And you're like, I'm not going to have children.
No, they don't want children.
Oh, but you do.
I want children, yeah.
I see.
It's like a dope experience.
So you'd rather be alone than not have children? Or you don't have children? Okay. Well, there are plenty of girls in the Midwestern United States.
I don't live there.
No, but you just need to bring one back.
Just go fishing.
Just go get one and bring her back. It's not as hard as you think. Or find one in college who's from the Midwest and didn't grow up around here, and she'll be like, all the men around here don't want to have children. This is awful. My mother keeps telling me to find a nice boy, but I can't because they all are like hipsters with $1,000 cell phones who only care about the next PlayStation release. And on that note,